Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to be looking at the Comixology new July editions. Yes, it's the middle of the month, and I typically wait to do these videos when they load them in the app, just because it's easier to look at that way than on the web page. It seems the app runs better on this screen recording on the iPad better than the web page does sometimes, so that's why we wait. Anyway, this finally came up like middle of last week, and I'm just getting around to it today. Sorry for the delay. I know no one watches these videos, but I like talking about them anyway. We did not do any in June because I don't even remember them updating the app for that stuff, much less the June editions being very interesting. So here we are in July. Got a bunch of stuff. San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend, and let's talk some comics. So first thing, Stranger Things #1, right here. This is from Dark Horse Comics. Jody Hauser, Stefano Martino on the art. Let's look at this art. Pretty interesting. Not too terrible. This is like, some of the stuff you see on these indie books that are like, adaptations of something. So, and obviously the thing about this Stranger Things stuff is like, why would you want to read this? I guess like the story is told in their series, and anything they do in the comic books is very limited because they can probably only do a couple of things and not a whole bunch of stuff. So, what's the point? All right. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 Worldwide. Now, do I own these? Yes, so this is a collection of a collection. These are really weird. So I have all the trades for the Worldwide, which is the Return of Peter Parker version of Spider-Man after he came back when Doc Ock was impersonating him. Right? No. Actually, it's not. Sorry. This sucks. They've relaunched this book so many times recently that it's hard to tell what the deal was. Like, so Doc Ock took over Spider-Man. He came back, and then this book comes back. That gets Amazing Spider-Man gets relaunched after it had ended at 700, and then it ended there, and then it got relaunched again here with this is the new Spider Armor, and Peter Parker is a kind of a Lothario and interested in dating women, and he's running a company, runs it into the ground, stuff like that. So very interesting. This series also has covers by Alex Ross. So this is the version of the Spider-Man suit that I am in love with in the Spider-Man PS4 game. Until he gets rid of it, unfortunately. But I have all of these collections. I bought them as they came out on here, as you'll see by the little download link down below. But there's 9 volumes in this, and then it ends with the Red Goblin storyline. Eventually, he loses the cool suit, loses the company after this, what was this, clone conspiracy, whatever. But, so this is the first 2 volumes here are on Unlimited, and what's new, I guess, is this collection of the collection, which is 1 through 11, which will scroll over, and volume 2 over here goes through 11. So, that's that. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. Dan Slott's Spider-Man is a great Spider-Man. I don't care who you are. I liked it a lot. So, go and check it out. Batman, A Death in the Family. Now, have I read this? This is the epic story of, I think I have read this, but we're going to borrow it and read it again anyway, and check it out. Oh, and this has got a bunch of stuff in here. So this is not just the Death in the Family storyline. This also has New Titans 60 and 61 and material from Batman Annual 25. This should be interesting. Okay. Who's writing on this? Doesn't say. Everybody, here we go. George Perez, Jim Starlin, Marv Wolfman, Tom Grummett. Okay, awesome. So this is the storyline where Jason Todd dies. As you'll see here to the left, This is the volume where you find Jason Todd, the new version of him. It was kind of weird. So Jason Todd became Robin in the Batman comics in, what was this, 1980s. And originally, when he started, he was a blonde kid. Then Crisis on Infinite Earths happens, and they decide to make changes to Jason Todd's origin. They make him a thief. They give him the dark hair, just like Dick Grayson, and then they make him an asshole. He wasn't really an asshole before the Crisis reboot. So then they give the readers a chance to kill him. They end an issue that's collected in here in the Death in the Family volume with a 1-900 number, as the legend goes, and you called one number to kill him and one number to save him. And the fans decided to kill Robin. So that's what happened. And what's interesting is that they had the artist actually draw for the next issue 2 different pages, one where he was alive and one where he was dead. So, and then he eventually, he's dead for a long time in the books. Then he comes back as Red Hood after Infinite Crisis, and that's that. Okay, Vinland Saga, Volume 2. This looks like a manga. It's weird. All manga is usually like black and white. This one seems to be in color until you get to, the other pages. A Viking Saga manga? That's interesting. Okay. Not enough for me, but you may like it. Criminal, issue number 1. So let's see if the first collection's on here. I think oh no, this is the new one. So Brubaker's returning. He's doing Criminal again with Sean Phillips. Let's actually dive into this Ed Brubaker stuff on Comixology, because there's some great stuff of his on Comixology that you should definitely check out. The Fade Out is on Comixology. Let's go to series. Boom. Here we go. Yeah, his Batman stuff is on here. Captain America. So he wrote Captain America for a while. And first volume of the Winter Soldiers here on Comixology Unlimited. And then the first volume of The Death of Captain America is also on here on Unlimited. So you could check that out. But his independent stuff is really good. Here's what I thought he was doing. So volume 1 of the first volume of Criminal is on there, Coward. And then it goes on. He did 7 volumes here. So this is just like random crime stories. And then he started it up again most recently. And that's the one that's highlighted here, issue 1. Let's borrow that. Just check it out. And there's 6 issues out. Okay, so there you go. There's some Daredevil stuff. What was it? The Fade Out and Fatal. These are great. So the Fade Out is awesome because the entire series is here on Comixology Unlimited, Volume 1, 2, and 3, as you can see right there. And all the issues are on here as well. Definitely worth checking out for sure. And it's one of the weird series from Image that's still on Comixology. A lot of times they'll put on the entire series, like when they first come out, or they were for a while, and then they quickly took back the last 2 volumes because I think what the deal is, they want you to buy the second volume, the 4th volume, whatever, to get you a little taste, get you hooked, and then get you to spend money. But this is one of the ones that's still on here with the full series, so definitely check it out. Fatale was one of those instances where they had, let's go down to collections here, all 3 volumes, or 5, yeah, they had all 5 volumes on here on Comixology Unlimited. I read them all. I read them all. They were great. Great. This is also Sean Phillips' artwork. But right now, there's only the first 2 volumes. So what is Sean Phillips' artwork? What's he look like? He's kind of like, most of the artists that Brubaker likes to work with. Gets the job done, workmanlike, semi-detailed, but classic comic book art. And he's very good. He draws some nice stuff. So definitely check out Criminal. I think those were the 2 that are on here. Gotham Central's on here. Iron Fist, Kill or Be Killed. I'm interested to read this book. This is the French version. There we go. And this is also Sean Phillips. There's 4 volumes out. I'm waiting. I'm hoping this comes to Comixology soon because I want to check it out, and then I'll dive in once it gets in there. Okay. Shadow Man Volume 1 from Valiant, Transformers Optimus Prime, Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere. You know, I tried reading Sandman. Oh, Glenn Fabry. Oh, I might have to check this out. And I've read the first 4 volumes, and I couldn't get into it. It just wasn't for me. So I don't know if I'm a Neil Gaiman fan after all. I read Marvel 1602, I think was the first thing I ever read by Neil Gaiman. This is interesting. This is Glenn Fabry, pencils and inks. This is interesting. Oh, it's an adaptation of a novel, complete in one 224 volume trade paperback. All right. It's a Vertigo title. We are gonna borrow this. Hell yes. I'll check that out. Single story. Here we go. Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection. Spider-Man No More. Collects Amazing Spider-Man 39 through 52. And art by John Romita Sr. So this is where I think they have that cover of Spider-Man walking away from the spider costume in the trash can. Here's Green Goblin. Classic stuff, which I've never read. I need to read some of this classic stuff. Betty and Veronica, Amber Blake, Spider-Man, Black Cat. This is the Black Cat miniseries. Jen Van Meter, Javier Pulido. Javier Pulido is an interesting artist. He's kind of got this retro 60s style. He did some Dan Slott issues of Spider-Man that I remember reading, and that was pretty good and interesting. So let's give this a borrow. Let's check this out. This is volume 1 through 4. I think it's only 4 issues. This is from 2010. Yep. Okay. A nice little read. 4 issues. Okay. Here is a great story that you should check out. Spider-Man Ends of the Earth. This is like Dr. Octopus. One of his things he does in this Spider-Man run is this storyline. And this is before he takes over Peter's body and all that stuff. But it's one of the things, like, when at the end of this volume, in issues 698 to 700, when Doc Ock is laying out his master plan, there are things in this book that helped him achieve what he achieved. And the art by Stefano Caselli is amazing. There's a version of the Spider-Man suit and spider armor that comes into play here. If you haven't seen Stefano Caselli's art, you need to go check it out on Spider-Man. You could go read New Avengers or Avengers: The Initiative way back from 2010 or whatever, or 2005, I think. But he's a great artist. I really enjoy his stuff. Really enjoy it. Okay, Archie and Jughead, 30 Days a Night. I have all these. This is something different. This is new 30 Days a Night stuff. So 30 Days a Night, if you don't know, go read the original series and then maybe come into this. But you could probably start here if you wanted to. It's about an Alaskan town of Barrow, Alaska. And once a year, they are so high up on the earth and during the winter that they get, like the title says, 30 Days of Night, where the sun never rises. And in the original book series, the vampires find this town and are like, oh my gosh, it's a feasting frenzy. So they go on a feasting frenzy and eat a bunch of people. Okay, so Richard Starks Parker, Volume 4, Slayground by Darwin Cook. These are fan-fucking-tastic. If you've not read any of these, you owe it to yourself to read all of them. But you can read them as part of this thing. Look at this. The Hunter, I read. Fantastic. The Outfit, I read. Fantastic. The Score, I read. Fantastic. The Score, they go and rob a whole fucking town. It is amazing. Slayground, borrow. Yes, I want to read that. Hell yes. Did you do this single issues? I can't remember. But definitely going to read that. Excited to read that. Shadow Man Volume 2, Vinland Saga Volume 3 is also here. Okay, here's the individual issues of Death in the Family. Oh, I already own these, so I have read them. Okay. At least I read. Why don't I have 429? Weird. Huh. Single issues of Neverwhere. Here's some more Batman stuff that is probably in that Death in the Family trade. Here is, what is this one here? Part of a collection, Death in the Family, Lonely Place of Dying. So part 5, continue from New Titans, number 61. Okay. So that must be where Tim Drake comes in. Because Tim Drake comes in on the storyline called A Lonely Place of Dying, and he's supposed to tell Batman why he needs a Robin. Interesting. Okay. Batman needs help. Batman needs a Robin. Yep. This is when Tim Drake takes over. So, if that is in that trade I borrowed, fantastic. Alright, new. Oh, man. Damn it. We lost our spot. No. Okay, I'm in a hotel, and the hotel internet here is not great, so pardon the interruption. But let's keep going. So sometimes you go down here in these single issues that are collected in the trades that are also on here. There's some stuff in here that's not up front. Angry Birds. If you want to read Angry Birds comics, here's a whole bunch. Bacchus, Volume 2. What is this? Eddie Campbell. Some interesting indie artwork. Don't know what it's about, but you can go check it out. Here, Volume 1's on here, actually. Contains Book 1. Doesn't tell me what it's about. That doesn't help me. 3, 4, 5, and that's it. Okay? Well, thanks for not telling me anything about Bacchus. That doesn't make me want to check it out. Batman, Ninja Turtles, Adventures, crossover is here. Looks like 6 issues, and here's the collected edition. If you want to check that out, that could be fun. Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Here's the Optimus Prime stuff. Saucer State. I don't know if we looked at that one or not. Some more Sonic comics. City on the Edge of Forever. Dungeon Quest. Love and Rockets. Heard about the Hernandez brothers, but I've never read Love and Rockets. And as many volumes as there are, I don't know if I'm going to start now. And that is it. So, that is your Comixology Unlimited picks for July 2019. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.